Welcome in. Senate Democrats are demanding answers about conditions aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, a carrier stationed in the Middle East. Senator Richard Blumenthal says the carrier has been deployed for 250 days and has not come ashore in more than 200 days, setting a record. There are reports of problems on board the ship, and two U.S. officials confirmed to CBS News that a sailor from the USS Lincoln went overboard and was recovered safely. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the reports of conditions on board are completely misrepresented.
Completely misrepresented. Listen, we make sure at every ship, every crew, every captain has everything we can provide them at every single moment. Some deployments are longer than others, and I have more respect and gratitude for those sailors than anybody. What they do in those high seas and those austere conditions with less port calls, it's incredible. I mean, Americans don't understand what it's like to do that. So as someone who's not been on a ship like that, but been on long deployments, I feel it. I want them home as soon as everybody else do. I want folks rotated as quickly as possible. I want the best for them. My commanders know that. Our service secretaries know that. The president expects that. And so to that crew and to all those crews, we're going to do everything we can for you. And we are so grateful for their dedication of that crew and others. They've held the line for the country, and they've done a fantastic job.
CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata joining us now. So, Charlie, what do we know about the conditions on the USS Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah, Juliet, it's been described as austere. So these sailors and Marines have been at sea for a number of months. We'll get into that in a moment. But where the alarm bells started ringing was from the parents of these sailors and Marines, who started saying, well, you know, they've been there for a long time. They may not be getting the kind of rations or food that they want. More importantly, they're worried about the mental health of these individuals. Because I want to point out that when you have an aircraft carrier like that, and I've been on that aircraft carrier, the Abe Lincoln, when you have it at sea, it's a different thing when it's at sea and it's at war, because this aircraft carrier was supposed to go to the Pacific, and it then turned right to go to the Middle East. It found itself in the middle of an active kinetic conflict zone. It has come under attack repeatedly, defending those attacks. But when you're in a conflict zone like that, where you've got these fighter jets taking off from the deck, you're looking at 12, 18-hour days constantly pushing these out. And that is going to have a fatigue element on the airframes themselves, the aircraft carrier, and the personnel. And that's what's raised alarm bells among, again, the parents, the families of these sailors and Marines on board, saying this is a long deployment. Mm-hmm. It's wearing down on the individuals who are part of that deployment, and that's what rang alarm bells. So the Military Times had a report that one individual had tried to jump overboard. As we reported and we confirmed, there was a rescue of somebody who had gone overboard. We're not inferring that that was intentional, but there was a rescue there. And that is why we're paying attention to the Abraham Lincoln. Now, we spoke to the Navy. The Navy said the Marines and sailors on board are fully equipped with whatever they need to continue these operations. But again, I have to drill down. This is not a normal deployment. This isn't an aircraft carrier at sea. This is an aircraft carrier that's currently engaged in a war against Iran.
Sure, and to that point, lawmakers are also concerned about the length of deployment. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Juliet, an average deployment for an aircraft carrier, and a carrier strike group, by the way, because we're paying a lot of attention to the Abraham Lincoln, but there are several destroyers and cruisers that are part of that strike group, and they're all part of that too. We're talking about thousands of sailors and Marines. They would normally be deployed maybe 6, 7 months. This is already 9 for the Abraham Lincoln. And even if it were to stop and turn back now, it's going to be another 3 weeks or a month before it gets back to its home port. So we're looking at a twice extended deployment, and we understand that the George Washington aircraft carrier, which is currently in the Pacific, is headed to the region. The assumption is that it's going to replace the Abraham Lincoln, and the Abraham Lincoln might be headed home soon. But I spoke to a father today whose son is one of the Navy personnel on board. It's his first deployment, 20 years old. And he said, you know, we expect when our sons and daughters sign up for this, this might happen, right? Didn't expect that it would immediately go into a conflict zone against Iran, or that it would be extended this long with really no kind of return date. And that's what's causing concern. The mental health and the rations on board, and how long they can continue this operational tempo.
All right, Charlie D'Agata. Charlie, thank you.